Morgan Freeman is here in 1992. He starred with Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, a film which redefined the Western. This year they team up again in the boxing drama $1 Million Baby, and here is the trailer.
Frankie, I've seen you in Mass almost every day for 23 years. The only person who comes to church that much is the kind who can't forgive himself for something.
You got a fight I don't know about.
You gonna leave me?
Never.
He also narrates the upcoming PBS miniseries Slavery, The Making of America. Here is a clip from that series.
This is a story of resistance and the struggle to maintain human dignity. It is a story of the demand for freedom told through the lives of enslaved people. And it's the story of the founding fathers you never knew.
Morgan Freeman was nominated for an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for his acting in $1 Million Baby. I am pleased to have him back at this table. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Charlie. So nice to be back. So nice to see you. Happy New Year and all that.
Now, all of that. Thank you so much. Listen to this. Best Picture. The Aviator, Finding Neverland, $1 Million Baby. Director, Clint Eastwood, $1 Million Baby. Actor in a leading role, Clint Eastwood, $1 Million Baby. Actress in a leading role, Hilary Swank, $1 Million Baby. Actor in a supporting role, Morgan Freeman, $1 Million Baby. You said to me as you sat down, something like this comes along once in a while. What are you talking about?
That confluence of elements that goes to make what, for lack of a better word, we could call perfection. I say, lack of a better word, perfection is a high place in this. But a script, a director, and its component actors, you know. I think I can name a few places where I was lucky enough to do that. And I think this was one of the top echelon.
Yeah. Another one is Shawshank, which we've talked about before.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Unforgiven is another.
Yeah, and Driving Miss Daisy.
And Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
You've had more than most.
I've had more than my share, I'm sure.
What is it about Clint Eastwood?
If I was going to lay any kind of labels on what he is and does, I would say the first thing is respect. That's the first thing you think about. His respect for others and his work, others' respect for him and his work.
Is he different? Does he just have more of it? Does he handle it differently?
I think he handles it differently. He gives me such a sense of assurance in my own work, because sometimes you're working with a director who says, all right, let's do it again. And you want to know, well, okay, what are we looking for? Why are we doing it again? Oh, we'll just see what happens, you know. It's fine if that's what you want, let's go, you know. But to Clint, that's a total waste of time and money. And he didn't do it.
2 takes is...
2 takes, 3 takes to most, and he's if he feels he's got it, if you feel you've got it, if you want to do another, he's perfectly happy to let you do another, but you can't go.
Yeah, it's not just doing to see what happens.
No.
Give me a reason to do it.
Give me a reason to do it. What do you want, you know, because I like what you did. He's going to say that. You know.
You two have some special relationship, though, or not?
I'm going to say yes, because I really admire him a lot. And as a person to work with is just, somebody said that we're like an old married couple. I mean, you know, when we're in the traces together, when working on a scene together. That's the way you feel. Like, I'm comfortable here.
You know each other.
Yeah.
You know what each other can do.
Yeah.
You know what to expect from each
You know
other.
what to expect.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know this is as good as it gets.
That's a good term.
And then she comes along. Hilary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he said that he didn't know at the beginning. He believed in her, but didn't know at the beginning that she had the capacity to do the physical stuff.
It's a lot of hard work. I mean, seriously hard work.
Yeah.
And she did it. So you see her fight. You know, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
You know.
She
And,
spent 4 months, I guess, 6 or 7 hours a day.
Just it.
Just
training
that,
just like
you
a
know.
fighter.
Some guy here in New York, I think.
Yeah, she had a
Clint
guy here.
Eastwood.
Yeah, and then she had all those women.
Right.
She was fighting with the, I think it was the Dutch champion,
Right.
who was also one of her trainers. Very pretty woman.
What's amazing about the story, too, is that, you know, $1 Million Baby, say, okay, this is a story about a young woman who wants to be a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's about all this other stuff, isn't it?
It's about life.
It's about life.
Yeah. Yeah.
A relationship between you and Clint.
Relationship between Clint and I, relationship between she and I, relationship between she and Clint, the relationship between Clint and himself.
Tell me about your character. Because we're going to see a scene in a moment.
Yeah. Scrap Iron.
Scrap Iron.
Yeah. You know, I think of Scrap Iron as being one of those journeyman fighters, the kind of guy who was really a good fighter. At one point, he probably could have been a worthy contender, but as time goes on, you take too many shots to the head, and then you become just that guy who, if your young fighter can get past, probably has a future. You know? And the relationship between he and Frankie goes back to probably Scrap's last fight.
One fight too many.
Yeah, one fight too many. And he got a cut over his eye, and it didn't have a manager. Manager was off somewhere getting drunk, as the script explains it. And Frankie was a pickup corner man. Did cut work, real good cut work.
Right. The best.
Yeah, and kept the blood down so that he could finish the fight. 15 rounds. Got cut along about the 7th round, I guess, 7th or 8th round. Kept the blood back until the 15th round, but in so doing, lost the eye. Well, Frankie's character was such that he took that upon himself. You know, I shouldn't have done that. I should have thrown in the towel. He didn't have the right to throw in the towel, so he couldn't have if he wanted to. But for their entire relationship, Scrap knows that Frankie blames himself for that.
Scrap doesn't blame him, but he knows Frankie does blame himself.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it was Scrap who was begging him to do it.
I asked Clint about this. The narration, which is Scrap is the narrator for this story, tells Clint's story, Clint's relationship with his daughter.
Yeah.
He writes her every week, and she never writes
answers
back.
Yeah.
Never answers.
Right.
For reasons we don't quite know.
Right. She could be dead. Who knows?
We don't know.
Yeah.
But the letters come back.
Yeah, they come back.
And that's part of the story.
Yeah.
And he keeps writing them.
Yeah, every week.
I mean, he's got lots of guilt going on, this boy.
Yeah.
Frankie.
It's a really deep and meaningful part of the story.
Yeah.
That this man's trying to work out in his life, you know. Just and
What?
he's such an actor. He so immerses himself in that. It's hard to believe because, the audience has such a habit of accepting you in a role and wanting you to stay there. Dirty Harry.
You mean Dirty Harry and all that?
Yeah.
But that's his genius. That's his genius. Whatever it is, he has evolved out of everything.
Yeah.
From spaghetti western to Dirty Harry to, always refusing to be defined by what he just did
Totally.
and reaching out to do something. And now everybody believes, this is amazing. Well, it's true about you too, but everybody believes he's doing his best work ever in his life.
Some of it.
Yeah, some of it. I mean, Unforgiven was just 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Then Mystic River as a director. And now this.
Well, I mean, I can go all the way, take them all the way back to play Misty.
Yeah, well, that was
Tightrope. You know,
yeah. Play Misty was important for him because his first directorial effort, right?
It was his first directorial effort, and he was coming out of that, breaking that mold of the man with no name. Who would play Misty for me, playing a very vulnerable person. You know, I mean,
he's never been scared of vulnerability.
No, and as an actor, that's your biggest plus.
Wait, to be able to give vulnerability?
You have to give it up.
To give it up?
Yeah, just that's the only way you can really do it, is to be vulnerable.
Yeah, but some can't do that.
Unfortunately.
All right, here is where you got to understand this, is that part of this dialogue too is that Frankie has his flaws, played by Clint, who is the trainer. His flaw includes the fact that he holds on to some of the fighters he manages too long, doesn't give them the early title shot that they ought to take.
Back to that guilt factor.
About you.
Yeah.
And so they leave him.
They have to, if they're going to keep moving.
Yeah. But there's also beyond guilt factor, this relationship. I mean, he basically listens to you, too. Doesn't necessarily, you don't see him agreeing with you, but it is about him, his character. Mm-hmm. He absorbs what Scrap tells him. He absorbs it.
What do old married people do?
There's a respect, because they've been through that much.
Right.
You know, we've been this far, darling.
They bicker. And one of them is listening.
Yeah. But they bicker even though they take it seriously. Roll tape. This is the first thing you'll see between Morgan and Clint. Here it is.
Mickey's got the connections.
Well, it ain't about connections, Frank. It's about you not believing in him.
Well, I found him. I stuck with him for 8 years. How's that for not believing in him?
You could have got him a title fight 2 years ago. Hell, he knew that. I'm amazed he stayed around this long.
Yeah, well, getting there and taking home the belt are two different things. What was I supposed to do? Just put him in over his head? Not protect him?
The other thing is that line about, I had my chance. Mm-hmm. You know? And this is also about her. She just wants her chance.
Just give me my shot.
You know?
Let the chips fall where they may after that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people feel that way. If I have my shot, win, lose, or draw, I have my shot.
Right.
You know?
Right. I don't have any more complaints.
Exactly. Yeah. Just don't keep me from having my shot. For whatever reason, give me my shot. All right. Here's another scene. I want to see this and talk more about this. This is about, because Clint likes this scene a lot, as he said, according to the conversation we had. This is where Frankie asks Scrap about the holes in his socks. And what's so...
Yeah.
Tell me about the scene.
Well, it's just one of those... It's one of those marriage scenes. They're just going at it for a minute, you know.
All right, roll tape. Here it is.
You got big holes in your socks.
Oh, they're not that big.
Well, if I give you some more money, you can buy some new socks. Please.
Well, I'd be tempted, but I couldn't say for sure.
So you're smiling at this. Why? Just because it's about
just
an old marriage couple?
Yeah.
More to it than that?
Nothing.
Yeah. How many times have you seen this? Twice? 3 times?
The movie?
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah. Is that about the way you do it?
Yeah.
You look at it once? And then did it look differently than the way it felt when you were making it?
No.
No, it's a movie you made.
Yeah, it's a movie we made.
Because he doesn't shoot that many scenes. He didn't have that much to choose from.
Exactly. You know, that's right.
At your place, how do you prepare? I mean, where you're at now, did you want to know anything that wasn't in the script?
No. I get asked that question a lot. How did you prepare for the role? And my answer is pretty stock. I read the script.
Right, that's why I said it.
Yeah. Because there isn't a whole lot to... I mean, if you're going to play somebody who's extant, some living person, then you've got to learn who they are. Mannerisms, look, all of that. You want to get it down to...
Jamie Foxx, Ray Charles.
There you go. Right. But if you're creating a character, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to create it, I mean.
Nobody knows but you.
The writer knows.
Yeah, well, right. But he gives it to you.
But he's done it. Yeah, he's done all the work.
Yeah.
So you just channel it.
Yeah, but there's the other end of that, which you know. I mean, what do I know? It is this notion that the writer or the director knows the reason he hired you is you'll take it off the page.
Yes.
And that's where a lifetime of work comes in. Take it off the page.
Take it off the page.
Yeah. And surprise us and let us know you own the part.
And you know, you could give that same part to 24 actors. You get 24 different nuances in interpretation and still have the perfect character.
Exactly. So there's no one way to do it.
No.
It depends on the skill and experience of the actor. Can you imagine what you would do if you didn't do this?
Yes, I can.
What would it be?
I don't know, but I would like for it to be. Now that I've had this experience,
yeah.
I could be a professional pilot.
You could?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Really?
Well, I wanted to fly when I was a kid.
And why didn't you?
Well, went into the Air Force.
Yeah.
And I'm not military material. Question authority.
I was going to say, what's your problem with authority?
It's large.
It's huge. And that's part of the reason you're a great actor. Probably.
Okay.
Well, you're self-reliant. You know.
Yeah.
You're out to be your own architect.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're so smart.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
That's why everybody wants to do your show. Right?
No. So you thought about being a pilot?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
What is it about? So why that? What was it about that appealed to you?
Flying?
Yes.
At that time, and this was following World War II and the Korean War.
Right.
We had moved into jets.
Right.
And the idea of flying is a little different than the reality of flying. But the idea of flying is the freedom of being in the air. There was so much space. And, you know, if you're fascinated by birds,
right,
and I've always been.
Me too.
Yeah.
I learned to be, but
then there is that thing of having mastery in the air, you know.
Floating.
Yeah, just being able to...
And looking down over everything.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. But you were a sailor, too.
Yeah, well, that is a type of flying.
Yeah.
So I thought when I found sailboats that I had satisfied my desire.
You ride on the wind.
To ride the wind, right. Yeah. Because that's another very exhilarating.
So did you come to flying later in life?
Yes, just 2 years ago.
You showed up at flight school and said, hello, my name is Morgan.
Right. No,
I want to learn to fly. And they looked at you and they said,
I found a
come on in here, kid. We've got just instructor for you.
I found this instructor sitting in an airplane. I went over and I said, you were a flight instructor. He looked at me kind of like a scant and said,
like who's asking?
Yeah. And I got his information, and I called him up, and he apologized. He said, I didn't know who you were. Yeah. What do you mean you don't know who I was? You don't have to know who I am. I just want flight school. Oh, yeah, but I'm sorry. I didn't know you were such a big star, blah, 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 blah. So, well, and he did that for months and months and months.
Yeah.
Right? Told the story of how.
Right. He ate out for a long time
right,
on the fact that he was telling you how to fly. And so it took you 6 months to a year to learn.
I soloed after about 40 hours.
Yeah, that's the great thing about acting. You can, between roles, you can focus on what you're doing. You have nothing to do but learn to fly.
Right. And so I went at it. This is the way I go after things. If I get interested in something,
I go head first.
You just
Yeah.
drill down,
Yeah.
down, with the blinders on.
Blinders on.
I mean, how many things have there been in your life like that?
Sailing,
Sailing, flying,
yoga.
yoga.
Yeah.
You still do that?
I just had my first in 5 years. I went back to yoga class this morning.
Is that right?
Yeah.
First time
So
in 5
sorry.
years?
Yeah.
Because
Well, I'm not religious about things.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go for a while and then decide.
what you're religious about flying?
I'm not even religious about flying.
Really?
No. I'm not religious about anything.
Not about acting, not about anything.
Maybe acting.
Yeah.
Maybe acting. That's, but acting is what defines me. Everything else is overlay, is part of what defines me. But acting is all I am, I think. You said before, what would I be doing if I wasn't doing this, to tell you the truth?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You don't know.
Right.
It's
I mean, I think I would always be doing it because it isn't a career that chose me. I mean, it's not a career that I chose. It's one that chose me.
how's that?
Well, I would have quit years ago because it was just, you know.
Because it was hard. Because you were a black man, or because it was
you
just,
can give it any excuse you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's hard for everybody. I don't think blackness has a whole lot to do
Okay,
with
because I mean, you know, what does they say? 5% of the people who have a card are working.
Right. There it is. Now, back in 1961 or 2, I remember reading about these percentages.
Yeah.
Like 5% of the actors who have Screen Actors Guild membership are working. The rest are looking for work. And out of that, black actors, the percentage is even lower. And it's just part of this was given to me as a reason not to.
Somebody told you not to, or you told yourself?
Well, no, you're just given this information as an eye opener. You know, what you're going for is really, really difficult. It's like climbing Everest. You know, only a few are going to get there.
I don't know whether it just makes you tougher and more determined if somebody tells you that. And so I don't necessarily instantly blame those people who say, look, you know, you're not going to do this because the odds are against you, and you're not this and you're not that. You know, whether but they tell you, they may be giving you incentive. I mean, how many people in this, we're talking about this film.
We are talking about this film.
You know,
Right.
Hillary,
You're already 32 years old.
Maggie.
Right.
32 years old, never fought in her life.
And you want to be a fighter, you should have started when you were like 16, 17 years old training.
And now, there's a reality about that.
There's a real reality about that, serious reality about that. But those of us who are going to overcome are going to overcome it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Mostly it's yourself. Doubts, fears, insecurities.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of those because you're going at it and you're going at it and you're going at it and you're going at it, and you don't see the results. You don't see anything coming back. You don't see any. And then every now and then, something comes along just when you're ready to fall off the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
Something straightens you back up, and you know you'll keep going.
It's like golf, and you're just about ready to give up on the game.
Right. You get a perfect drive.
Exactly. It's a little bit
I can do this.
Exactly. Well, I mean, there's hope, you know. I mean, just when I was ready to give up, Hillary tells a story of the fact that she had just been fired. Somebody said, you know, this is not for you, from a job. And she thought, oh my God. And then 4 months later, along comes Boys Don't Cry. You know, and all of a sudden her life has changed.
Yeah.
What changed it for you?
Serendipity. The real change came in 1967.
That Driving Miss Daisy?
No.
67.
Driving Miss Daisy was 20 years later.
Oh, that sense of time is awful.
It's okay, Charlie. Some friends were going up to Stowe, Vermont to do summer stock, and I'd never been able to get a summer stock job, ever. But of course, I've been trying for musicals. I thought it was a dance. I forgot, you know. And so they said, why don't you come up here and play with us?
So, well, I had nothing else at all to do. So, yes, of course. And I went up there, had a magic summer. And I started sailing. Somebody gave me a boat. The head of Stowe Prep, as a matter of fact, gave me a boat. Said, you know, if you like, and I don't have time for it. It needs to be used, so take it. As I said, head first. And if you want to learn something, someone has written about it. So back to New York, to the library, books on sailing, you know, to New York Nautical.
Right.
And while I was here, I went to an audition for a play called The Nigger Lovers. And they said, thank you. And I left, went back up to Vermont and got a call back, came back. They said, thank you, went back to Vermont, got another call back. And the head of the artistic director, a guy named Jim Leahy, said, what do they want? I said, why, they want me to come back and audition again. And he said, why? You've already auditioned twice. They should know by now. I want you to stay up here and do my fall season. Somebody wants me. Okay.
Yeah.
So he said, tell him no. Stay here with me. So I told him no.
Not coming back.
I'm not coming back to audition again. He said, well, you got the job. You tell him no.
You get the job.
You get the job. It's a very magic word in this business.
No.
No.
Makes them want you more.
Somehow, it, you know. Anyway.
Or at least you're not dependent, so you're...
Yeah, you. Yeah. So I go back, and it's just, boom, I get press. I go right from that to a Broadway play.
What was the play?
Hello, Dolly, with Pearl Bailey.
Right.
You know. Big lesson. 11 months of watching a serious professional in Pearl Bailey.
Watching a serious professional. Yeah.
Or serious professional work. 7, 8 performances, 110% every time. Every time. In the theater, on time, no attitude, work.
It's amazing to me because you hear people say, he's a pro. And what they mean is just what you just said. You come prepared, you know your work, you understand that a lot of people depended on you, you understand the dimensions of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and you treat it seriously.
She got trouble with the cast at one time because after the show, she would do this little routine. We'd all have taken our bows, and we're standing in this line, and Pearl would go out and she would announce whoever was in the house, invite them up on stage, play with them a little bit, you know, and then just a little extra something for the audience. And they ate it up. She was Pearl Bailey, one of the best entertainers in the business, you know. The cast got resentful.
They did?
Yeah, we've done our job. We have to be standing out here while she's doing whatever it is she's doing. I said, gee whiz.
Yeah.
You know, when this job is over, you people are going to be begging for work. Yeah. Don't you see that this little extra something here is just...
For the people who make you.
Yeah. You know, I remember packing the St. James Theater, one of the biggest houses on Broadway.
I know.
Packing it. So, I'm just... well, what I took away from that experience was that knowledge from Pearl Bailey about what is professionalism. How do you get in this business and stay in this business?
Well, and that was a transition from I may get out of this, I may not make it, I don't know what's going on, why am I in this, to I'm in this. This is what I am.
Yeah.
I'm an actor.
I'm an actor, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it just, my career was on that upward slant finally. And it stayed there for 15 or 16 years. Is that right? 1967,
you said?
7. No, that's not 15. 87. Number 7 to 7. That's 10 years.
Right.
80. It's 13 years.
Right.
13 years on that slant.
And what happened in 80?
Phone stopped ringing. Stop. Just... I did a TV movie. And it wrapped just before Christmas. And I got my next job in late 1982.
2 years.
2 years. Now, 2 years after the first year, you become certain that your 15 minutes are up.
Yeah.
You know, so that was what I was thinking. It's okay. Well, hey, your 15 minutes are up. You better start thinking of an alternative. You know. So what would you do? What do you do now? Well, I could go and get a hack license. Could try to get a job as a limousine driver. I love driving. So why don't I do that? And I was, you know, every day telling myself, get up, go down to the Taxi and Limousine Commission and get your license. Apply. But as I did, I would my fantasy was that I'd be driving a cab or something, and some friend of mine would get it and say, "What are you doing here?"
That was your fantasy or your fear?
Well, both. You know, I mean, just know that, you know, it's like,
Thought you were acting.
yeah, come on. And all my friends would say, you know, you're one of the best. You can't. One of the reasons I was able to stick was because of friends were telling me that.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Told you how good you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then what was the first film role?
Well, after that, or the first film role at all.
Yeah, at all.
At all was in 1969. Jack Klugman was producing and starring in a little movie called Variously. Poor Old New York, P.O. N. Y. Or Who Says I Can't Ride a Rainbow. And it was about these kids who were trying to save one of these ponies that was used on a ride in Central Park or these things. And these children didn't want this horse to be sent to the glue factory, so they were keeping it in their parents' apartments.
That's a great story. Taking care of their pets.
It was an interesting concept.
But Driving Miss Daisy is what? Did that catapult you to?
No. Driving Miss Daisy was concomitant. What does that word mean?
Along with, same time.
God damn. With Street Smart.
Yeah.
I did this movie, Street Smart. It came out in the spring of 1987. I was off Broadway in the spring of 1987 with Driving Miss Daisy. So on the one hand, there's this movie with this really violent pimp. And on the other hand, there's this stage play with this wonderful old man. And so that was it. And
so everybody saw.
Everybody saw.
Saw the range right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And today, you have all the work you need.
No.
Don't?
No. It appears that I work a lot.
Yeah, it appears that it does.
Yeah.
Here's my impression. You know, and because you think of all the great performances, and you and I talked about many of them, Shawshank and Unforgiven and everything, but it appears that you represent something in the movies that they need. I mean, somebody who could do almost anything. You bring talent to the stage, to the endeavor, which we know.
Stage is a good term.
Stage. And so therefore, you know, for all movies that are not, you know.
Yeah.
But there's just not that enough of them. They're not being made. There's not what?
Well, Charlie, that's the reality is that there are a lot of actors.
Yeah, but there are not a lot of Morgan Freemans.
No, there aren't. But the thing that used to bother me the most is the idea that one actor is all. Nobody else can do this.
Right.
And that stops a lot of young people from getting work.
Yeah.
I feel like it stopped me. You know, what do you mean? I can do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to work more. I'd like, you know, but it's okay. I'm not complaining.
Because you got all, you know, you're not a guy who's going to sit at home and cry. You got to go flying. You can go sailing. You can read all the books you want to read. You can do all the things you want to do. I should mention this. You're narrating this documentary about slavery on PBS.
Getting a lot of requests for that.
Yeah. That kind of narration or
narrations? Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, you could earn a great living just doing that.
Probably.
But it's not what you want to do.
No.
What you want to do is find out how good you really are.
I want to be in the movies. I want to be in show business. I want to be somebody.
I want to be somebody.
I want to be somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlie.
But do you think that you think there are things inside of you that you haven't even pulled out and accessed yet?
Well, hopefully, yes. I'd hate to think that I've peaked.
Yeah, I would too. I would too.
So I'm dependent on writers. Come on with it.
Did Clint call you up and say, what's the conversation when Clint calls you up?
The real conversation was, I have this script, $1 Million Baby,
Yes.
and I understand you're interested in it, because Al already had given me that script some time before. And I said, yeah, I'm very interested in it, you know. He said, well, I'm getting ready to read it, so now I know that you're interested in it, I'm definitely going to go at it.
Wait, and now that I know you're interested, I'm going to read it, or I'm
reading it with that in mind.
Yeah.
And he did. And he called back.
I mean, he's 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
If you are on, he's
That's
2/3
what
of the way there.
that's the impression he gave me. That, you know,
he doesn't
you know
try
where
to
my
create-
ego goes behind that, you know. It's like,
But do you like the script because you like the relationship between the characters?
I love the script for all of that. The relationship
Yeah.
between those characters. Maggie is just, you know, incredible opportunity for some actors. And of course, when it gets into Clint's hands, you know, it's like, and he calls me up.
Yeah.
You just, it's like things falling into place, you know.
Yeah. I want to see you with Maggie, with Hilary Swank. Here it is, in which she tells him about how Frankie wished he'd stopped the fight in which you lost your eye, which you talked about earlier. This is a great moment. Rotate.
I go 15 rounds. Lose by decision. Next morning, I lose the eye. Somehow. So Frankie thinks he should have stopped that fight. Thing is, if you want to get to the title, maybe he's not the one to take you there.
Man, voice is important too, isn't it?
Yes. Very. When I was in school, I took theater arts at Los Angeles City College. Had a wonderful voice coach there. His name was Robert Whitten. And
Take a bow, Mr. Whitten.
Yeah, Mr. Whitten, please. And I took voice and diction and voice development. And he lays such a nice foundation for you. And then, of course, when you get to New York and you start working on stage, it's always you're working voice-wise, because in a large theater, you really have to be able to speak from here all the way back there without yelling.
Yeah, leaving it conversation.
And that all it takes is practice and know-how, you know.
You want to come back and do any stage work?
No.
Are you sure? Have you thought about
It took me a few years to
get it out,
admit it, you know.
to admit it, that you really want to do that.
Yeah.
That making movies is...
All my life is what I wanted to do was make movies.
Yeah.
All my life. Ever since I first realized that somebody told me that I was a natural at this, I wanted to be in the movies.
Are you a natural, you think?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Means I'm intuitive.
Me too. I know what you mean. Yeah. Just instinctively
Yes.
know.
Yes.
You don't need to have somebody say everything to you. You don't have to go read it in a book.
No.
Part of it. You match the instruction with
The books that I have read, most of the one, of course, you know, you adopt what agrees with your thinking, you know.
Yeah.
And Bobby Lewis's book, I read years ago, called An Actor Prepares. And you just read about how different accomplished actors of the period went about working. How do you prepare for a role? You know, so I get asked a lot, how do you prepare? What do you do? Well, as I say, first, it's not on the script. Can't get it.
You know what I think? I mean, I think that somehow understanding what an actor understands would be great benefit to all of us. Not only because you'd appreciate what happens on film, on a stage more, but to genuinely appreciate it. Because I think most of us just enjoy a performance. We don't know exactly what goes in, and that's fine.
Yes,
you know, we don't need to know what goes into being a great violinist or whatever, or a great painter. But we could look at the art and say, I like that. It just appeals to my eye. It appeals to me. I like the feeling of it. You know, same thing about an actor's craft, too. But there is a thing about, I would think almost as good as psychiatry, is to be able to access who you are. And to be able to express yourself and to be able to be in touch with who you are would serve you in every way.
Oh, immensely, I think. Just immensely. And I never thought of that in those terms, Charlie, that part of the game is being in touch with who you are. I think we were always trying to get away from who we are. Put on other clothes, you know.
Right.
Wear other costumes. I know some actors who are, if they can't hide, they can't act. They don't do it well. But the minute they are hidden, layers of makeup and costume, it's extraordinary.
They can do it.
They can do it, yeah.
And there's some people talk about needing to find something, clothes, shoes, a walk.
All of us need that. I think all of us, well, maybe not. I think Jack Nicholson could probably do it naked. but
I don't. Well, we've seen that too. Actually, remember that movie he just made?
Yeah.
In the back scene. Yeah. Go ahead.
I find that there is something about the costume or the makeup that will like stamp the character for me. A hat, a pair of shoes, something.
What was it in Scrap? Anything?
The hat.
Hat.
Yeah, and a haircut. And cut my hair off, and it's thinning out up here. So if you cut it short, I look like I've got male pattern baldness. So I look really bald up there. So it was perfect. You know, I was at we cut my hair, and I looked at it and said, "There's a guy. There he is."
You saw him.
I saw him.
You know, and so you could get inside him.
I could walk around in his shoes easy.
Yeah. Now, what are you doing after this? Are you making? I know Clint's going to do this movie about. I think it's Iwo Jima. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's Iwo Jima. He's doing this. And I don't have a job yet.
But are you interested in... I thought there was some question about you in some movie about World War II or something.
I'm producing that. That's a movie about the 761st Tank Battalion, an outfit that fought in World War II, 186 days in combat without let-up.
In what battles?
Well...
I mean, what part? What's the Europe?
They were in France, Belgium. They fought the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
And they were the first group to the Rhine River.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a big accomplishment. Everybody was trying to get to the Rhine first.
Well, because they were the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
Third Army. Did you see Pat?
Yeah, of course I did.
Do you remember when they found out that the 101st was surrounded after the breakout, the Battle of the Bulge?
Right.
And it was sitting in a staff meeting, Pat, and say, "My guys, I can do it. My guys will march 100 miles and fight a battle." Part of that group was the...
Now, was this a story you wanted to do? I mean, how did you come upon it?
Yeah. Well,
and what is it about this group?
I stumble on these things, you know. Like so many of the stories about black involvement in the wars in this country have not been told.
Yeah, they're just beginning to do it.
Just beginning to do it. And which is fine, because, you know, it's probably my time. You know, it was said, "Morgan, this is what you were meant to do. You were meant to tell these stories." So, fine.
So you have gone. This is going to happen.
This is going to happen.
You're not going to appear in it. You're just going to produce it.
Yeah, it's was a young man's game.
Right. You know? Right.
Yeah, but we have it set up with DreamWorks. They're underwriting it.
Do you want to direct? Or smaller? Maybe.
Maybe. I don't think I'm going to direct this.
Yeah.
I like to get a really, like, you know, Ridley Scott or something to direct it.
Yeah, well, Ridley Scott could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. But that's because it's a lot of troops moving a lot of things around. But a small picture like this, you could be interested in.
Oh, yeah. I could. And I directed, and I loved it. But I'm basically lazy. Directing is a long-term engagement in one project.
You're basically lazy?
Basically, I'm lazy.
But what do you call, I mean, if you're lazy, why do you go up and fly? If you're lazy, why do you...
I don't mind learning something new, you know. I mean, and I travel a lot, and I love travel. I mean, lazy, that's not work.
As honest as you are, tell me what it means to have this nomination, Oscar nomination.
It's the same as getting a good review. Someone saying you did really good work.
Yeah.
You know, that's as far as it can go. Now what they're saying is that we have now narrowed the season down to 5 outstanding performances by a lead actor, actress, supporting actress, movie. After that, it's arbitrary as far as I'm concerned, because there's no way to be best.
Mm-hmm. Once you get nominated, they said.
Once you get nominated,
all the films made. And when you look at the company you're in, always, whoever it is, whether it's you or Clint or Hilary, you know, the point that you've made in this conversation with me, that's I think is important to know, is that there is not one person in the world who can only do one role, no matter how many directors or producers or actors might think that.
Yeah.
You know, that there are a whole range of people with lots of talent out there.
Yeah.
And a few get the chance to meet their moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you get 5 of those in a career, it's amazing.
Oh, heavens, you know? You're walking in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I absolutely have no complaint. I'm amazed at the luck that I've had in terms of that, you know, getting these roles in these movies.
Have a chance to take a shot. As he said, I had a chance.
It's
great to see you.
Good to see you.
My pleasure.
It's always such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Morgan Freeman, nominated for Best Supporting Actor, $1 Million Baby, along with Clint Eastwood for Best Actor and Best Director. He was also nominated for Best Picture. Hilary Swank was nominated for Best Actress. We'll see you next time.